Hey guys, this is Nagraj SK and welcome back once again for this series of learning C programs. So in the previous session we discussed the 8th experiment, that is write a C program to find the factorial of a given number, and now in this session we'll go for the next experiment, that is experiment number 9, write a C program to find the GCD of two numbers using functions. So let me begin with the problem definition here. What is GCD of two numbers using functions? So write a program to find the GCD of GCD of two numbers using function using functions. So this is our problem definition. So from this, what we have to understand first, what is GCD, right? It is also called as highest common factor, HCF, or greatest common divisor of two numbers using functions. With the help of functions concept, we have to write the code for this. So we'll understand what is GCD first. Suppose finding the greatest greatest common divisor or highest highest common factor. That is nothing but, suppose if I take 12 and 30, 12 and 30 are the two numbers. I want to find the greatest common divisor of these two numbers, for these two numbers. That is nothing but by which number these both numbers will get divisible. Like 12 will be get divisible by 12, will get divisible by 1, it will be get divisible by 2, it will get divisible by 3, it will get divisible by 4, it will get divisible by 6, and also it will get divisible by 12 itself. Then what about 30, right? 30 is also get divisible by 1, 2, then 3 also, then by 4 it will not get divisible, 5 it will get divisible, and by 6 it will get divisible, and then it will get divisible by 30, 10, and it will get divisible by 15 and 30 itself, right? By 10 it will get divisible s. Okay, then among these, which is the common divisor, which is the common factor? 2 is the 1 is the common, then 2 is also common, 3 is also common, then 4 and 5 is there. So this we have, it is not common, 4 is not common and 5 is not common among these two. 6 is common, then 12 is not common, right? 12 is not common, then 10 is also not common, 15 is also not common, then 30 is also not common divisor. So among these all are common divisors for 12 and 30, two inputs. Among these divisors, which is the largest, which is the greatest common divisor? So that is 6 here. So this is what the greatest common divisor of two numbers. For this we are writing a C program to find the greatest common divisor of two numbers using functions. So let me begin with the code here. That is, I'm considering here some of the input variables, int u, v, result. These are the u and v are the inputs, that is number 1, number 2, then You can take any other variables, and also I'm declaring one function here, that is GCD itself, by the name GCD. I have to pass here two arguments, that is u and v int v. Then after that I have to ask a user to enter the input values, right? So for that I have to use printf statement, printf, then ask a user to enter two numbers, enter two input values, two input values for u and v, u and v, right? So read those two values with the help of scanf statement from the location of the variables u and v. For that, u percentage d, it is integer, percentage d, that is also an integer, both u v and integers, ampersand u comma ampersand v. And after reading that, what we have to do, we have to find the greatest common divisor, right? Once we get the input values, input numbers, we have to find the greatest common divisor. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to call a method, I'm going to call a function, that is GCD, this function, but without body I have declared here. I have to write the definition of this method. So once I got the input values, two numbers u and v, I have to identify the GCD of two numbers, GCD of u comma v. So this function I'm calling. Then after that I have to display that what this GCD method will be performing the task. I'll be writing the code for that. We have to write that code outside the main method, so that is the reason I'm just calling it here first, then the body of that function will be written later. So after getting the result, after getting the greatest common divisor of this u and v, I'm storing it in result, and that I'm printing. So to print the result, I have to use printf statement, printf, then GCD of u and v. U and v is percentage d, then comma result, which is the greatest common divisor of those numbers u and v. Then what I have to do, I have to write a function of GCD, so it should be outside the main method. So what is the type of that GCD function is int GCD. Int GCD function is also called as method. So int, so GCD function or method is taking two variables, int u comma int v, right? So how to find the greatest common divisor of two numbers? So this is our function, this is our method. So here int temp equal to int temp, I'm taking one temporary variable, I'll tell why I'm using that. In that, while phi not equal to 0, phi not equal to 0, you have to perform this. What you have to perform? Phi not equal to 0, then temp equal to u mod phi, and whatever remainder will come, it will be there in temporary variable after u mod phi. Then u will be assigned by phi value, then phi will be assigned by temporary value, that is remainder value. Then outside of this while loop, I have to return u, return u. This is how we are finding the GCD of two numbers with the help of this operation, with the help of this condition. So let me run this code and check the output whether it gives the proper output or not. So I'll click on the run button for running this code. Okay, that's great. We are getting, it is asking to enter two numbers. So enter two input values for u and v. What I'll do, just I'll take 10 and 50. GCD of u and v is 10. And if you want, as I explained, 12 and 30, it should give us 6 as the greatest common divisor. So I'll go for 12 and 30. Run it once again and give the values 12 and 30. That's great. GCD of u and v is 6. That means this code is working properly. So this is how we can find the greatest common divisor or highest common factor of two numbers using functions. When the control comes here, it will be calling this GCD function. This GCD function, what it is doing, it will be performing all these operations and it will be returning the values, and that value will be stored in result variable, and finally we are displaying it on the output screen. This is how the finding of GCD of two numbers using functions. And if you are having any doubts in this code, if you are having any doubts in the logic, please do ask your queries. Definitely I'll be helping you out. And thanks for watching.